The war had already lasted many years. Across the galaxy, countless fleets had fought and fallen. One by one, powerful alien empires were destroyed by a single unstoppable enemy alliance. Entire star systems burned. Hope was almost gone. The final battle was about to begin. In the war zone, a massive alien fleet waited in perfect formation. Their ships covered the stars like a metal storm. The alien commanders watched their screens calmly. They were sure of victory. Every race that had stood against them had already failed. Humans were expected to arrive, but they were late. Again, the alien leaders laughed quietly. Humans had always been slow, always cautious. They had stayed silent for too long. Many believed humanity was afraid. Some even thought humans would never come at all. Then, without warning, every sensor in the war zone screamed. Space itself seemed to tear open. A sudden flash of light appeared behind the enemy fleet. Not one ship, not two, thousands. Human ships. They were large, dark, and simple in design. No bright colors. No glowing symbols. Just cold metal and sharp lines. The fleet arrived in perfect order, completely silent. No messages. No warnings. The alien commanders stopped laughing. New data flooded their screens. The human ships were bigger than expected, heavier, stronger, and they were moving into attack position with calm precision. Still, no communication came from the human fleet. Other alien races watching from far away felt fear rise in their hearts. Humanity had finally arrived, not in panic, not in anger, but with quiet confidence. On the command bridge of the human flagship, officers stood ready. No one shouted. No one rushed. The fleet had trained for this moment for decades. At last, the human fleet commander spoke. His voice was calm. Weapons free. The order was given, but the human fleet did not rush forward. Instead, they held their position. The alien commanders were confused. Humans had declared open fire, yet no weapons had been seen. No missiles. No energy blasts. Nothing. The war zone remained silent. Then the enemy fleet fired first. Thousands of alien weapons lit up space. Beams of fire, plasma, and charged energy raced toward the human ships. It was a sight meant to break any enemy's will. Alien commanders watched with confidence, certain the humans would scatter or retreat. The attacks hit, and nothing happened. Human ships did not explode. They did not burn. The weapons simply vanished against invisible barriers. Human shields absorbed the assault without effort. Energy readings barely changed. Silence filled the enemy command bridges. Alien officers checked their systems again and again. Their strongest weapons had done nothing. Fear began to spread through the fleet. Orders were shouted. More weapons were fired. Stronger ones. Still, the human ships remained untouched. The human fleet slowly moved forward. Not fast, not aggressive, just steady. The alien formation began to break. Some ships tried to pull back. Others changed targets, hoping to find a weak point. There was none. For the first time in the war, the enemy felt something new. Helplessness. On the human flagship, the commander watched the data with calm eyes. Everything was going as planned. Humanity had studied this enemy for years. Every weapon, every tactic, every weakness. The human fleet did not fight with emotion. They fought with certainty. The commander raised his hand. "Begin return fire," he said quietly. Across the war zone, small points of light appear along the human ships. The enemy sensors screamed in panic. They could not identify the weapons. They could not track them, and they could not escape. The human weapons did not roar. They did not glow brightly or tear space apart. They were silent. Alien sensors tried to lock onto the incoming attack, but there was nothing to track. No heat, no energy trail, no warning. Confusion spread through the enemy fleet as their systems failed to explain what was happening. Then the first ship disappeared. Not exploded, not broken, gone. One moment it was there. The next, empty space. Alien crews froze in shock. Another ship vanished. Then another. Entire battle cruisers were erased as if they had never existed. There was no debris, No survivors. No signal. Panic took hold. Enemy commanders shouted desperate orders. Fleets turned in every direction, firing blindly into space. Their weapons struck nothing. Their formations collapsed as ships tried to flee. The human fleet continued to advance. Slow, controlled, unstoppable. Human weapons struck with perfect precision. Only enemy warships were targeted. No wasted fire. No chaos. Each strike was final. Across the galaxy, observers watched in disbelief. This was not a battle. This was an execution. Humanity was not fighting for survival. They were ending the war. Inside the enemy flagship, alarms screamed without pause. Systems failed. Shields collapsed. The crew realized the truth too late. Humanity had surpassed them long ago. On the human flagship, the commander remained calm. The fleet status was clear. No losses, no damage, exactly as predicted. Then a signal request appeared. The enemy flagship was trying to communicate. The human commander paused for a moment. He allowed the signal. The alien leader appeared on the screen, shaken and afraid. His voice trembled as he spoke. "Human, what are you?" The commander looked at the image without emotion. Before he could answer, a new alert flashed across the bridge. The enemy fleet was attempting a full retreat. The commander turned to his officers. "Block all escape routes," he said. The war was not over yet. The enemy fleet tried to run. Ships turned wildly, engines burning at full power. Some crashed into each other in panic. Others fired blindly, hoping to clear a path. None of it mattered. Human ships moved into position with perfect timing. Every escape route was sealed. The war zone became a closed cage. On the enemy flagship, the alien leader stared at a screen in disbelief. His fleet, once the strongest force in the galaxy, was trapped. Fear filled his eyes as a human commander appeared on the main display. The human spoke calmly, his voice steady and clear. "This war is over." The alien leader tried to argue. He spoke of power, of conquest, of destiny. His words sounded weak, even to himself. The galaxy was watching now. Every major race had tapped into the transmission. The human commander waited until the alien finished speaking. "You had many chances to stop," he said. "You chose destruction." Silence followed. The human continued. "Humanity did not rush into this war. We watched. We learned. We prepared. We hoped you would stop on your own." The alien leader lowered his head. "We are not here to conquer," the human said. "We are here to end this." Across the war zone, human weapons powered up again. The enemy fleet knew what was coming. Some crews shut down their systems in surrender. Others froze in fear. The human commander raised one hand. "Only military targets," he ordered. Human weapons fired once more. Enemy warships vanished in controlled strikes. No chaos, no rage, just precise judgment. Ships that surrendered were disabled, not destroyed. The galaxy watched in silence. This was not cruelty. This was restraint. Within minutes, the once mighty enemy armada was gone. Only wreckage and silent space remained. On the human bridge, officers waited. The commander turned away from the screen. "Phase 2, he said, and the galaxy realized the truth. Humanity was not finished yet. The fighting ended almost as suddenly as it had begun. Where thousands of enemy warships once filled the stars, only silence remained. Broken hulls drifted slowly through space. Fading energy fields marked where entire fleets had vanished. The war zone, once alive with battle, had become a graveyard. Human ships moved carefully among the wreckage. They did not celebrate. They did not chase fleeing survivors. Their mission was already complete. Humanity had achieved total victory in minutes, something the galaxy had failed to do in decades. On one shattered enemy cruiser, emergency lights flickered. A single escape pod launched, damaged but functional. Inside was a high-ranking enemy commander, the last one still alive. His hands shook as he watched the human fleet surround the area. The pod was captured without force. A human escort ship pulled it in, locking it safely inside a hangar. The alien commander expected anger. He expected revenge. Instead, he was met with silence. From across the galaxy, alien councils watched the aftermath in disbelief. Humanity had destroyed the enemy's military power completely, yet civilian ships were untouched. Colonies were unharmed. Trade routes remained open. The message was clear. Humanity fought only those who chose war. On the human flagship, reports continued to arrive. 0 human losses. Minimal energy use. Mission success confirmed. The commander stood and looked out at the empty stars. "This war is finished," he said. But one question remained. What would humanity do next? The captured enemy commander was brought before the human council. He expected punishment. Instead, he was asked one question. Why did you continue the war? The alien struggled to answer. He finally whispered the truth. Because we thought you were weak. The human commander nodded slowly. That, he said, was your final mistake. Human ships began to power down their weapons. The galaxy held its breath. Humanity was about to decide the future of everyone. The war was officially over. Across the galaxy, emergency signals fell silent. Enemy supply lines collapsed. Military commands shut down one by one. What had taken decades of fighting had ended in minutes when humanity arrived. The alien councils gathered in emergency session. Fear filled their chambers. Not fear of conquest, but fear of understanding. Humanity had the power to rule the galaxy, yet they did not claim a single world. Human fleets withdrew from the war zone in perfect order. No victory parades. No threats. They left behind only silence and certainty. The captured enemy commander was returned to his people. His fleet was gone. His empire broken. But his life was spared. This act confused the galaxy more than the battle itself. Humanity sent one final message to every known race. It was simple. War ends when someone strong enough chooses restraint. The message spread fast. Empires reconsidered their plans. Fleets stood down. Borders grew quiet. For the first time in generations, the galaxy understood peace. Historians would later agree on one truth. Humanity was not feared because they destroyed an enemy. Humanity was feared because they could have destroyed everyone, and chose not to. Children across the stars would grow up hearing stories of the war zone. They would learn how humanity waited while others rushed, how they watched while others attacked, how they spoke only when words were no longer enough. From that day on, no race laughed when humans were silent, because silence was not weakness. It was patience. And when humanity finally spoke, the galaxy listened. Far beyond the ruined war zone, human ships vanished into deep space, returning home. The stars remained unchanged, but the balance of power had shifted forever. The war was over. The lesson was not,